Hello everyone, you welcome back to my channel. On today's video we'll be sewing this jumpsuit. I made use of 3 yards of Ankara fabric. If this is your first time on this channel, you're welcome. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share with your sew friends. So guys, let's get into it. The first thing I have to do is to drop down my bust point. The bust point I'm working with is 12 inches. Shoulder to bust point is 12 inches. Then the next I have to get is the half length. The half length I'm working with is 18 inches. So this is my 18 inches. I came down from here by half inches. This is the startup line. This half inches here. This mark I have here is the startup line. Now connect this line together. The next I have to do now is to drop my shoulder measurement. The shoulder I'm working with is 14. 14 divided by 2. You divide your shoulder by 2. 14 divided by 2 give me 7 inches. So here I will drop down my 7 inches. Then I will add half inches for seam allowance. I'll come down by 1 inches for the shoulder slope. This is 1 inches for shoulder slope. I have to get the width of the neck. The width of the neck I'm using is 3.5 inches. So this is my 3.5 here. Then I'll come down by 4 inches for the depth of the neck. This is 4 inches for the depth of the neck. Now connect these lines together. The 1 inches to the width of the neckline. Then the next I have to do is to connect the neck like this. So after doing this, now we have to get the chest line. To get your chest line, you divide your bust by 6 plus 1.5. The bust I'm working with is 44. 44 divided by 6 plus 1.5 give me 8.5. I will put down my 8.5 from this 1 inches I came down here and mark 8.5. So now I'll check what I have. I have 9.5. I'll put down the 9.5 here and mark. Okay, now I'll bring that my shoulder measurement to the chest line, which is 7.5, and mark here. And I'll connect with a straight line. The next I have to do is to divide this 8.5 by 2. 8.5 divided by 2 will give me 4.25. So this is it here. So now I'll come in for the front armhole. I'll come in by 0.75 front armhole. The thing I have to do is to mark a straight line like this. And now use my French curve to get the armhole. Now the next we have to do is to divide our bust. The bust I'm working with is 44. 44 divided by 4 will give me 11 inches. So I'll mark down 11 inches here. And I will add 1.5 for seam allowance. Now on the waistline, I will divide my waist. The waist I'm working with is 39. 39 divided by 4 will give me 9.5 here for my waist. This is my waist measurement. Then before that, we have to get the bust span. The bust span I'm working with is 4 inches. So this is 4 inches here. I will come here on the bust point and mark 4 inches. I'll connect this with a straight line. The next we have to do now is to open the dart. Because I'm drafting for a plus size, I'll be opening my dart with 0.75. So here I will put down 0.75 for my darts. Here also 0.75. Okay, so now I'll come down from the bust point by 1 inches. The dart will not get to the bust point. And I will connect and do the same thing here also. I've dropped down my waist measurement, which is 9.5 here. This is 9.5 after dividing my waist by 4. Now I'll check what I have for the dart here. I have 1.5. I'll bring down 1.5 here for the dart allowance, 1.5 for sewing allowance. So now I'll connect this. Now I'll cut this out. See this yellow chalk is the startup line. Then I came in by 1 inches for the zipper allowance. Then the next we have to do now is to get the width of the neckline. which is 3.5 for the back also. We are using 3.5. Then I'll come down by 1 inches for the depth of the neckline. 1 inches. And now we drop down the shoulder measurement. You drop down your shoulder measurement after your zipper allowance. Then 7.5 here. Then I'll mark 1 inches for the shoulder slope. Now connect this like this. This 1 inch is to the width of the neckline. Then I will connect the back neckline also. So now next we have to do is to get the chest line. So I'll come down here and drop my chest line, which is 8.5 for the back. 8.5. You just drop your chest line and you drop the half length, which is 18 inches. So now this is it. I'll connect these lines together. After doing that, I'll bring down the shoulder measurement down on the chest line also, which is 7.5. For the back, I'll divide my armhole by 2. This is it, by 2. And I'll just come in by half inches for the back armhole. Half inches. And connect from here up here. You can see the way I'm connecting. I will use my French curve. This is the back armhole. The next I have to do is to drop my bust measurement, which is 44 divided by 4, 11 inches. Then I'll add 1.5 for seam allowance. What we have to do now is to drop our bust span also. The bust span I use is 4 inches. You drop your bust span here, chest line, and drop 4 inches. Now connect with a straight line. Okay, so now come down by 1 inches. That is not getting to the chest line. Okay, and I'll open the chest also by 0.75. 0.75. And I'll connect this mark to this 1 inches here. Divide the waist by 4. The waist I'm working with is 39. 39 divided by 4 give me 9.25. I approximate it to 9.5. This is 9.5 here. Then I will add that allowance I have here, which is 1.5. This is my 1.5 for that intake. Then 1.5 for seam allowance. So now connect this line together. We have to remove the back bulge. To remove your back bulge, come in by half inches. On your neck depth, you come down by 3 inches. And now you connect this half inches you came there to this mark here, like this. This is it. Now we have to get the new zipper allowance. To do that, we mark 1 inches for the zipper. This is my 1 inches mark for zipper. And I'll connect 1 inches. So this is it. Now cut this out. So now we have to cut the trouser. It's a jumpsuit we are cutting. So to cut this trouser, I came down from this line. This is my startup line. This yellow chalk is the startup line. Now the first thing we have to do is to get the hip line. The hip line I'm using is 9 inches. So I'll come down from this startup line by 9 inches. Then the next I have to do is to get the crouch depth. To get your crouch depth, you divide your hip by 4. My hip I'm working with is 44. 44 divided by 4 will give me 11. Because this is a jumpsuit, I'm not going to be using 11. I will add 2 inches to this 11 to my hip measurement. 11 plus 2 will give me 13 inches. So now use 13 inches for the crouch depth. If it's normal trouser now, you can make use of this 11 inches. Your hip divided by 4. You just use it. But because we are cutting a jumpsuit, I added 2 inches to this, making it 13 inches. After doing that, next thing you have to do is to get the nail. Then the nail I'm working with is 22. The next we have to do is to get the length of the trouser. After removing 18 inches. The remaining length I have to work with is 41 plus folding allowance and joining allowance. I have 41. Now mark 41 here. The next we have to do is to divide the hip by 4. The hip I'm working with is 44. 44 divided by 4 will give me 11. But because I'm cutting on my fabric, I will add 1 inches to that 11, which gave me 12 inches. Then half inches for the inseam. That will give me 12 and a half. So now I'll mark 12 and a half for my crouch depth, and I will come on the hip line also and mark 12 and a half. And I will come on the waist also and mark 12 and a half. So now I'll connect these lines. So now the next we have to do now is to get the crouch extension. To get your crouch extension for the front, because we are drafting the front trouser, you divide your hip by 20. 44 divided by 20 will give me 2.2. But because there's no 2.2 on the tape, I will just mark 2.5. For the front crouch, I'll mark 2.5. The way I just fold this my fabric that I cut out, I divided my hip by 4, which is 11 inches. Then I add 4 inches because of all this crouch extension and the allowance. I added 4 inches to it. So now after doing that, the next we have to do now is to connect this crouch depth. You just come here by 1 inches because we are doing freehand. Come up by 1 inches and connect this like this. This is the front crouch. After getting the front crouch now, we determine what we have from this place here to here. We have 15. So now divide this 15 into 2 to this my crouch extension here. So now I have 7.5. So now I'll mark the 7.5 on my new line and on the hem line. 7.5. Now connect the lines together. So after getting the crease line, this line you call it crease line. After getting the crease line, the next we have to do is to divide the nail. The nail I'm working with is 18. 18 divided by 2. You divide 18 divided by 2, which is 9 inches. Now divide this 9 inches to this so it will be equal, so your trouser will be straight. So now I'll divide by 9 inches, 4.5. I'll drop 4.5 here and 9 here. But we can't just leave it like this. We have to add seam allowance to this. I will add 1 inches. So adding 1 inches to this line, I will have 10 inches now. So now I'll mark half inches here. And I'll come here also and mark half inches. Then I'll do the same thing because this is a straight cut trouser. I will just carry this down to the hem of my trouser. So now I'll be connecting from the nail to the hem of the trouser. After connecting from the nail to the hem of the trouser, so now the next we have to do is to get the waist. The waist I'm working with is 38. 38 divided by 4 will give me 9.5. So from this my straight line I have here, which is this crouch line, I will mark 9.5 for the waist. Then I will add 1 inches for that. This 1 inches for my dart intake. Then 1 inches for sewing allowance. So now connect this line to the hip line. Then I will now connect from my hip line to the new line. Crouch extension to the new line. To get the position of your dart, you divide this from this line here, your measurement, your waist measurement, by 2, like this. And you come down by 5 inches. We'll check what we have here. We have 6 inches. 6 inches. Then now you open your dart by half inches. I'll connect it to this 5 inches mark we have here. So now I'm done with the drafting of the front. Now I'll cut this out. So I'm done with the cutting of the front. Now I've placed my front on the back pattern. This is what I'll use for the back pattern. At this front here for my back, I added 2 inches, and on the back also I added 3 inches for allowance. So now to cut your back pattern, the first thing you have to do is to just mark this place like this. You can see the way I mark mine. This is it. And you come back on the front crouch by 0.75. This is 0.75 here. You can see it now. Then now we check for the hip. What we have here, add this 0. Remove 0.75 from this front crouch. We add it back here also. And come on the hip also and add 1 inches. Connect this like this. Then the next thing we have to do now, on the up of our trouser, will come in by 1.5. So this is the 1.5 I came in by. Now came in for the crouch here by 0.75. So now from this 0.75 we came in, to get your back crouch, you divide your hip by 10. So 44 divided by 10 will give me 4.4. Approximate the 4.4 to 4.5. So this is my 4.5 here. Then I'll add half inches for seam allowance to make it 5 inches. So this is my new back crouch. You know, I came in for the back by 1.5 for the crouch. Now connect it to this mark I have here. First you trace your back this thing, and now I'll connect this like this. After doing that, now I'll drop this back, getting the back crouch. Now we have to replace what we take here. The next you have to do is to divide your waist by 4. The waist I'm working with is 9.5. This is 9.5 here. And I'll add 1 inches for that. 1 inches for seam allowance. So this is it. You can see how it is. So you should be comfortable with your jumpsuit. When you wear your jumpsuit, we have to add another 1 inches to this mark, making it 2 inches allowance I added. So this is my 2 inches. Now come here also and mark 2 inches. Now just connect like this, so we can sit properly with the jumpsuit. Then for this front side, I'll come up by 1.5. I'll come up by 1.5 for the center front of the jumpsuit. Then I will slant this down to this mark here we have. So now on the side of the jumpsuit, I'll be adding 2 inches. On this inseam here, I'll be adding like 1 inches on the inseam. Now cut out. Guys, I'm done with the sewing of the dart. You can see I've sewed the dart for the front and the back. I sewed the dart on the fabric first, then I did the same thing also on the lining. So by the time we turn this, it will be very neat at the back of the jumpsuit. So now this is my lining. I've gone ahead also to sew my darts. I'll go to the machine. I will sew this on 1/2 inches all round my neckline, and I will do the same thing also for the back. So guys, I'm done with the sewing of the neckline. It's always good to launch your neck after sewing, so launch it on 1/2 inches. I did the same thing also for the back, so I will launch the back also. Turn the lining to the back and give it a good press. So now I've given this a good press. Now the next we have to do is to join the back to the front at the shoulder on 1/2 inches. So now I'll go to the sewing machine. I'll put my front and back together like this, and I will bring the lining to use it to turn the back this way on 1/2 inches. I'll do this for this shoulder and do the same thing on the other shoulder too. Done with the joining of the shoulders. Now we'll keep this up aside first. So this is the front of the jumpsuit. I've sewed down my darts for the front and the back. Now I will go and join the front on 1/2 inches at the center of this crotch here. So guys, I'm done with the joining of the front crotch. After joining, I pressed my seams open like this, and I've joined the trouser to the half length for the front. Now I'll do the same thing also for the back. This is my back. I'll bring the so now I'll go to the sewing machine. I'll go and join this on 1/2 inches. So now I'll go to the sewing machine. I'll go and join on 1/2 inches at the back also. I'll do this for this side of the back and the other side of the back on 1/2 inches. Guys, I'm done with the joining of the trouser to the half cut. Now it's giving us the jumpsuit. So the next we have to do now is to join the sides 1 inches. We added 1.5 for seam allowance, but we'll put half inches so it will be free to put on. So now I'll go and join these sides on 1 inch straight down and tell you what next to do. I'm done with the joining of the sides on 1 inches. Now we have to sew the back crotch. I'll come down here and measure 7 inches. This 7 inches, that is where my zipper will stop. Now I'll go and sew the crotch on 1/2 inches, the back crotch on 1/2 inches, and show you what it looks like. So guys, I'm done with the joining of the crotch. Now the next we have to do now is to join the inseam on 1/2 inches. So now you make sure your crotch, the front crotch and the back crotch is together like this, and we'll be sewing from this middle here on 1/2 inches to the hem of the trouser. I'll do it for this leg first, then I will do for the other leg also. So guys, I'm done with the sewing of the inseam. You can see how it is. This is the inseam. So the next we have to do now is to fix the zipper. This is my zipper, and you know the zipper allowance is 0.75, and I've overlocked the edge. So let's say now we have 1/2 inches. I'll go and fix in my zipper on 1/2 inches. Done with the fixing of the zip. You can see how neatly finished it is. After doing that, now we have to work on the sleeve. So this is my sleeve. I drop a link below on how to draft a basic sleeve. I've gone ahead to cut out my sleeve, and I cut out the lining for the sleeve. So now I'll go and turn this on 1/2 inches. This is my sleeve. The material, you know, it's 3 yards I use for this jumpsuit, so it's not enough, so I just manage to cut out the sleeve from the material. So now I'll go and sew on 1/2 inches on the hem of the sleeve, and sew the sides of the sleeve also, then turn it to the front. As I'm done with the sewing of the sleeve, you can see how neatly finished it is. This is the back of the sleeve, and this is the front of my sleeve. You can see how it is. So now the next we have to do now is to fix in the sleeve. First thing you do is to make sure you give a lunge to your center of the sleeve like this kind of lunge on the center of the sleeve. We'll make sure this joining at the side of the jumpsuit, then the joining at the side of the sleeve will be facing each other like this. I'll pin this down, turn it to the front, and this is how it will look. Now I'll go and sew this. I'll make sure this lunge I have on the center of my sleeve is facing the joining at the shoulder like this. I'll go and sew this on 1/2 inches round the sleeve. I'm done with the fixing of the sleeve, and I've folded the hem of the jumpsuit. Thank you guys for watching to the end. I really appreciate you. See you on my next video. God bless you.